Welcome back to the Pursuit of Progress podcast. We're back with season 3 and really excited to share this one with you guys today. As always, I'm Adam here with my co host, Ben. And if you guys are an aspiring homeowner, I
Mhm.
really want you to hear this. Your words are shaping your future. It's not just about saving up, checking Zillow, or meeting with a lender or a realtor. Before the plan even starts, the belief has to be there. And belief starts with your language. So today's episode is personal, it's practical, and it's powerful because, especially if you're on the edge of that next big life step, like building or buying your first home in 2026, this episode is meant for you guys today. So we're going to break down why the words you speak and who you say them to can literally change your brain, your confidence, and your results. So let's dive right in. Ben, what's going on?
I would love it. I'm such a big believer in this topic, this conversation today, not just with real estate too, or home ownership, so many different areas of your life. But let's focus it to home ownership because I know there's a lot of folks out there right now who have some concerns with affordability, questioning if they can do it. So let's say it out loud, and this is why you need to say it out loud because most people have very vague goals, but vague goals will never get you results. When you say something like, I want to buy a home before the end of this year, it activates your reticular activating system. I know that's something that you're a big believer in, and you've done the research, you've studied, you've read books, you've talked about it at length, and you have really helped educate me on that. And for those that are interested in learning more about that, we have plenty of podcasts in our library from seasons 1 and 2 on the RES. But another reason is speaking your goal out loud helps your brain scan for ways to make it real. There's real scientific proof that this matters. It's very important to write your goals down, and that's what I do. I've written my goals down on my mirror, so every morning when I get up and I get ready for work or take the kids to school, I'm brushing my teeth or whatever, I see all of my goals right there for the day, for the year, the quarter, and then I'll speak those out loud. I'll visualize. I'll have that internal conversation with myself, and then I will call those things into existence. And it's not delusion. I think that this is something that you have to believe in. To the non-believer, the person that doesn't believe this, it sounds kind of crazy. But speaking this stuff into existence, rewiring your brain for action. The plan doesn't come first, the belief does. So you have to believe.
Absolutely. And I'll piggyback off that and just say that you really have to also use strong language that assumes success. And if you think of like weak language, it kills momentum. Using words like hopefully, maybe, yeah, I'll try, yeah, that I guess that works, that kind of stuff. Instead, try using, again, language that assumes success. Say something like, I will own a home in 2026. I
Mhm.
will lose 20 pounds and be able to run for 5 miles without having to stop and walk. Whatever it may be, you're saying it, you're speaking it into existence, like Ben was saying earlier, but it's just that strong language that assumes success. Because strong words, they don't just sound better, they are truly setting your brain up to expect success. So, again, an example here replace, we'll see if I qualify with, I'm working on getting it pre approved right now. In fact, I'm doing it this quarter.
Yeah.
Just having a much stronger language really helps. And a quote that
That's
I'll,
why I love using the phrase I am. I found that that's really powerful. And this is also a biblical principle. The Bible talks about this. There is power of life and death in the tongue. And I have conversations with my kids where it's like, I'm not even going to say this. I'm not even going to talk about this. I'm not going to speak it out loud. There's no place in my life for negativity. I'm certainly not going to say something that is discouraging or putting someone down. You and I were in the gym a couple weeks ago, and I forgot to bring this up to you, but we were working out with our trainer Adam, and I overheard a conversation the person or the group was having next to us, and this guy was just being so critical of himself. He was like, "Man, I'm such an idiot. I can't. I'm such a loser." He was saying these things even though he was with his friends, like he was talking about himself this way. So dangerous.
Mhm, very dangerous. And that goes back to that reticular activating system too. The more positivity that you put out there in the universe, the more likely your brain is going to pick up on that and start tracking that and focusing on that and finding that and bringing that into your life. That same exact principle goes with negative thoughts too and negative language.
Mhm. And not that and not just that, when you say these things, say it to people who actually matter to you. A big reason that I have found most people don't speak their goals is because they're afraid of being held accountable. We've all been there. Um, it's easy and comfortable to have goals, but then not tell anyone.
Hmm.
So when your goal is to go to the gym 5 days a week and you're 2 weeks into January at the start of a new year, you haven't gone to the gym a single time, well, you don't have to answer to anyone. And that's why people don't share their goals. So get out of your comfort zone and share your goals with the people who matter in your life. It doesn't mean that you need to broadcast it, put it on social media, tell the world, but do share it with the people that matter. When you keep it inside, it's so easy to quit quietly. We've heard of quiet quitting in the workforce, but a lot of people quiet quit on themselves. They check out. I'm done. They're not necessarily telling anyone this, they're just giving up internally. So tell someone to make it real. Now you've got a witness. Find 2 to 3 people this week and tell them, "I'm gonna buy a home this year." Make the goal clearer, set the timeline, and be specific because you can make it happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's something that is hard to, especially that part about telling other people about it to really make it real, having a witness, so to speak, an
Yeah.
accountability partner. I mean, if you really want to be serious about it, even take it a step further, if you guys are on social media, tell the whole world and just, again, use that as a tool to have leverage against yourself to make it a reality, to not let all the people down and feel like a phony or a fake or a failure. Just use that to your ability and to your power rather than it being a negative.
And then go do.
Go do, baby. Well, I want to kind of add to that, just talk about the words specifically that you are using. Those words create pressure, and that's a good thing. So you think through this, pressure creates progress. You either follow through or you back out and you look flaky. That tension is what drives you forward. So the more people who know, the more serious you become. So if you want momentum in 2026, start by just speaking with that clarity and that commitment, kind of
Mm.
piggybacking off what I just said about the more people you can tell, the better, as long as you are serious about what you're trying to accomplish.
Leave with purpose. Speak with purpose. From our episode last week, visualize with purpose. What does that version of you 5 years in the future look like? Imagine that person, speak to that person. There's
Hmm.
power in your words. Believe that. Well, let's go ahead and wrap this one up. But here's what we know for sure: if you want to buy a home in 2026 or do anything big whatsoever, the belief has to come first. Not the perfect plan, not the ideal conditions, just the belief. So speak it out loud. Say it like it's already happening. Tell your people, and then watch what happens. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of the Pursuit of Progress podcast. Until then, keep building, keep moving forward, and keep saying it like you mean it.
And you know what, Ben? Before we close this one out, I just want to share one last thing with everybody. If you guys are still listening, Ben and I are hosting these monthly homebuyer webinars. They're free, they're online, and they're a great resource if you are just kind of maybe feeling a little overwhelmed. It's a great way, again, to take action, to speak it into existence. It's a great opportunity to connect with us on a live online webinar. Again, it's free. Don't have to have really any expectations going into it other than just learning and just having a positive environment to be in to make this feel a little bit more achievable and more of a reality in 2026 if home ownership is something that's on your bucket list.
Let's make it happen. And how can they register or get more information for those webinars, Adam?
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the reminder. If you guys just go to www.denverwebinar.com. So denverwebinar.com, you can find all the info there. We do cap every single one at about 20 people. So make sure you guys go there soon and claim your spot. And if you have anybody else that you think also might get value from that, make sure you guys share it with them as well.
And is this only for folks that are looking in Denver? What if there's someone in another market, but they have a goal of purchasing this year? Would this be of value to them?
Absolutely. Yep. Anybody that's interested in buying a home, really just understanding the process, learning some of the biggest mistakes that we've seen in person through our own experience, make some of the biggest mistakes that buyers have been making recently. We'll share with you guys what those have been, how to overcome and avoid those at all costs. But yeah, this is for anybody in the United States that's interested in buying a home. We're not selling anything. We're just trying to give you guys as much value as possible. And If you guys have questions and you want to learn a little bit more about any of that stuff, you guys could always just shoot either of us a DM. We'll give you guys a little bit more clarity.
All right. We love you guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great week.
See you
God
guys.
bless.